Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to our little campaign here. I do need to find better title screen music for this campaign because I need spooky music. I need the spooky music, and I don't know too many good spooky music. Especially because if you listen, most of my music I use is Xenoblade. Speaking of Xenoblade, but yeah, we're back. Time for the top of the stream announcement stuff. As usual, this is a horror campaign. If you can't really take horror, I recommend you take care of yourself. I would prefer that than being forced to watch this content. If you force yourself to watch this content, if you're watching on Twitch, the follow is appreciated. If you're watching on YouTube, the liking, commenting, subscribing, that all always helps the creator. That's why creators push it so much. I need to turn this music down a little bit more, I think. There, that's better. So yeah, there's that. And new announcement, I have, just because of bullshit Twitch is doing, I've started a Patreon. So if you watch this, you want to support the content, you can go over to the Patreon. There, I have the links in my About sections. Only do it if you want to, though. And yeah. Time to unmute. Hello, hello. Are we all ready to begin?
Yep. I'm here.
Right. And I know Golden said that they were gonna be muted for a bit. So yeah. I just get better fitting music and then we will begin the recap. This one. Alright, so last time on Mind and Body, the party journeyed through the Underdark to try and reach Deepwell. And basically, they did just that. So now we'll cut to the city itself as you all find yourselves approaching a great walled-off city, more used to towns and even Obsidiafell being darker on the outside. You see over the walls of this big city light shining, and you approach the Great Gate. The walls and gate are probably about 50, maybe 75 feet tall.
And where in this map is the gate?
Right about here.
Are you... Hold on. Do it again? I don't see it.
What?
Are you on this?
I should be on the same map as you guys. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm seeing Rylex pings. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where there's the gap between the big gap between buildings.
Oh, that. Okay.
Yeah. At the gate, you notice two guards stationed there. Very fine and sleek armor. For anyone who watched Netflix Castlevania, think kind of like the what the vampires who are under Carmilla, who are in Carmilla's army, think about what they wear, and it's kind of similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
As you head for the door, they give you a look over, but kind of more in like an expectant, like, we're not going to stop you unless you keep proceeding, but like basically there's this kind of like social construct part of it. They're not gonna be rude and just stop you, but they're also not necessarily just letting you through.
I smile and wave.
I also wave.
Hello there, what's your business today?
Just business here.
Family errand.
Hold on, wait. We were supposed to deliver something.
For a recap for the players,
Deliver ring and blueprints from Mimi to Therastra.
well,
That's what I wrote down.
yeah. There is also, you do remember that Jacob, or Eerie, as you remember him, was heading here, was heading here to, Brain. Why is my brain just short-circuiting? Sorry. Eerie was headed here on his business, and you do remember that, and that this place was recommended because it was where he needed to go. This is a refresher. Golden, since you are muted, but I see in the chat you have decided you'd like to buzz in. I'm just clarifying a bit. Oh, I am sorry. I misunderstood. My bad. Sorry about that. But yeah. I'm also sorry to hear about what's going on with you. Anyway, if it's okay with everyone to get back into the game.
We are here to deliver something. And also we killed the hold on. The things bothering your bridge.
Oh, thank you for that. Well, if you don't mind staying in the city just until we can have someone sent out to prove that, just so we can make sure we can give you a reward.
No problem.
Just, we know that they were elementals and there's hardly any way to prove that they're gone.
Yeah, that's what we weren't sure about. We'll be here a while.
Well, convenient then. If you're here to see Therastra, you may head in.
Well, thank you. And when we go forward a few steps, she stops and doubles back and just like, oh, if I were looking for lost people, who would I talk to here?
Lost in the city or lost in the Underdark?
Lost in the Underdark. I'm pretty sure they were kidnapped.
That might be good to speak to some of the explorers down here, the Explorers Guild. Their primary job is searching the Underdark, and they do have services to find missing people.
Okay, thank you.
They actually, if you're here to see Therastra, they have been working with a temple. So, you should be able to get in contact with them.
Okay. And, my god. They've been so helpful, and Lucille feels an obligation to give them a gold. So she just flips them a gold and just scurries off.
Oh, thank you! Thank you, little one.
You're welcome!
Yeah, and they also give you instructions that the Therastra will specifically be in the temple closest to the gate. So that is this one at the north of the fountain.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I also have a question for the guards.
Yes.
Where do you keep the dead bodies?
The dead bodies are usually used as fertilizer for the mushroom fields.
What about the ones you like studying?
We do not study many. I'm actually gonna roll an intelligence check just to see if this guard would know DM knowledge.
Can you hear now?
I'm sorry?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That was confusing.
The guard will say, I do not know much about the study of bodies if it happens. If anyone does it, we do have morticians who determine cause of death and such.
Okay. That'll be helpful. Thank you very much.
And they let you in.
Riley just continues on without a word.
And Soul follows you guys, which she will do for the session if Golden needs to dip. Do you all head for the temple?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Yeah.
When we reach the fountain, Lucio just wants to look around. Are these all temples?
The entire circle around the fountain are all temples.
Oh, that's so neat.
Yeah. So you notice a few of them. One is a elvish woman with what you at first think is a cloak, but you soon realize it's bat wings that are a part of her wrapped around her. Another you see in front of it is a statue of a gnomish figure with a pickaxe slung over one shoulder and an explorer's gear. You see one figure that's dwarvish who is geared out, ready for battle, but not necessarily in... You get the sense that this figure is, like, not as geared up. Kind of think, like Star Wars, how it's, like, Rebel gear compared to Empire gear, where it's like, you can definitely tell this person does not have resources. But the statue in front of the temple that you seek is a figure of a woman standing tall. Her features strong, but less of necessarily purely muscle, but also thick and powerful bones. But you also notice that her legs are digitigrade and her feet are reptilian, kind of like a dinosaur's feet. And that she has a tail as well, a similarly reptilian tail, and two giant wings out from beside her.
Ooh.
And this woman has her hand out in a protective stance.
Ooh. Okay. Just for funsies, can I roll to see if I recognize any of these figures?
Yes, that would be a religion check.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Yeah, you've heard these kind of tales of these figures from your companions, from Raniel, who, being a bard, knew a lot of stories and stuff. I forgot their names. My bad.
Hold on. It's Yannick, an artificer, Sprug, the barbarian, who was also an ooze, and Raniel, the bard.
Yeah, so you do definitely remember stories Raniel taught you. So you recognize one of the figures, the dwarvish one, as the Depth. This is a figure who is worshipped by the dwarves who live in the Underdark. Specifically, this figure in their midst led a rebellion due to the way dwarves were treated by the other inhabitants of the Empire, and that the Depth led them to not necessarily victory, but at least breaking free and founding their own way of life down here. The gnomish figure you recognize as the Hole Digger, a sibling of the two gnomish deities on the surface who became...
I'd like to point out that the word Draco just described is liberation.
Yes.
Okay.
The Hole Digger, a sibling of the two gnomish deities on the surface, became trapped down when an excavation team from Tinkerton was trapped, and with his nature of exploration, he helped found the city that you just left, Obsidiafell, and kind of helped fuel the gnomish idea of exploration down here. The elvish woman you recognize as the Bat. She is one of the elvish parents, and the origin of the deep elves is unknown. Some think that, similar to the dwarves down here, they left the territories for whatever reason. Some say that when the elves spread across the realms, that the ancestors of the deep elves were just the ones who came here as opposed to the surface. But that their connected deity, the Bat, in either case came with them. There are other statues, including one of a monstrous creature with fungus-like designs you recognize as the Infector. You can see maybe a draconic relation to it, but definitely under this mass of fungus. And the figure, which stands before the temple you are looking for, is... what's my notes for? Is the Guardian. The Guardian is a special deity, and you know that this interpretation of her is unique to the Underdark. You go to the Empire, you go to the territories, you look at the kingdom's interpretation all over the world, everyone sees her differently. She is the Guardian both between the realms of Ibrasum, between the heavens, the hells, the infinite chaos, and the clockwork sea. But she is also a guardian of things much farther out from this world, beyond the world.
Let's see.
Sorry if any of that...
Yeah.
Oh, you go ahead.
I tried to roll if Rylek would know any of this, but I got a nat 2 with my +1. That's a 3.
Yeah, Rylek's looking at it, it's like, yeah, these are statues, that's for sure.
I do have a...
No, you
First.
first. You first.
Okay. So, I'm assuming I don't see a statue of my god here.
No. Specifically from Setchel's perspective, because Setchel would definitely know this, your deity is of the realm of shadow. And deities are usually not worshipped outside of their specific regions. So it's you wouldn't find it goes beyond just the realms themselves, where you wouldn't really find many people worshipping the Bat on the surface. The Guardian is one of the exceptions, given that she's a universal figure who is part of every religion. The universal figures being those beings that are so powerful and important to the world that they kind of find their way into every religious practice. But for the murderer, he would not be part of the Underdark. He is part of the realm of shadow, and by nature, that means that your religious order is cultish.
Understood. But given how the Underdark is specifically for like my set of gods, like at the not standoffish, but like begrudgingly okay with it, would that be different here?
I'm not sure quite understood. I'm sorry.
Oh, we talked about a while ago, like how my god, like if someone knows like I'm a follower of that specific god down here, they're like, all right, just don't do anything stupid.
Yeah.
Would that be more severe here?
No. Because
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, thanks.
When we get to that sort of fountain circle, Lucille's just gonna like point each of them out and tell the others I heard lots of stories about these ones. That one's the bat, and like she tells them stories that hold on, I'm forgetting his fucking name now. Stories
Raniel.
that Raniel told him, and she tells stories that Raniel told her, and all the stuff that she's learned like in books and stuff. Yeah.
As Lucille points out the infector to Rylek, you begin to feel a little bit of a buzz in the back of your head.
Is that
Rylek begins to wonder, what the?
Is it just Rylek, or does Lucille also feel that?
It's just Rylek.
Oh, okay, never mind then. What I was
Rylek's
gonna
gonna approach the statue.
The buzz and fuzziness gets a bit louder, but it's like that, like you can tell there's a little bit of static and it bothers you, but you just can't quite get your, like, grasp your mind around it. You know it's there, but it's so small that it's bothering you because it's just there.
Rylek's gonna go into the Temple of the Infector.
Alright, you step in, and immediately your nose is assaulted with the mildewy smell of fungus. And as you step in, you notice that among with the usual temple amenities, there's a mushroom garden in here.
What about the buzzing?
The buzzing is still the same. If anything, it's starting to fade a little bit now.
Rylek's gonna go back to the group now.
Are you okay?
Let me get back to you on that.
That's not worrying at all. And she just continues on towards the Guardian's Temple.
Alright.
Rylek following.
Where's Satchel?
Satchel's just checking the fountain, but like if you're going to the Guardian, if you're going to the temple, they're following.
Okay.
They actually walk up to you and says, "So we're given the notes, right?
Yeah,
Do I think you have the ring too?"
I think so, yes.
Ah, damn.
Did you want to have time to copy it?
I mean, I've still got the notes, so I can just make another one.
Oh, that's true. So you're fine with us giving up these notes?
I have my copy. I have a copy, right?
We'd have to confirm with Joe, but I believe you were given a copy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think there was something like that.
Yeah, I'll just make another one.
Okay. Go into the temple.
Alright, you step in, and Rylek, you definitely recognize the similarities to the Temple of the Infector. But definitely a lot cleaner, as there's not a mushroom garden. and you see, kind of in what might be considered a throne, you see an elvish woman with violet skin, white hair, the pointed ears, and she's talking to an individual in front of her. At her side, at her right, you can see a knight in plate armor with a glaive, and then on her left you see a similar looking individual to her, in what looks like mage's robes. And she's currently speaking with an individual who is knelt down in front of her.
So their Astra is the one that's dressed kind of like a knight?
Shall see.
Okay. Well, Lucille's gonna like hang back and wait for this current conversation to finish. She doesn't want to be too rude.
Yeah, the conversation progresses, and then the figure seated takes notice. Ah, yes, what can I do to help you all?
We have something to deliver to you.
Oh, and she...
Is your name Theastra?
Yes, that
Oh, yeah, I
is... That is me.
Should have asked first.
She begins to step down, and the knight kind of falls in step beside her. What is it you had to deliver?
I don't know who had the notes. I think Setchel did.
Rylak looks at Setchel.
Oh yes. A friend of ours has created a magical item I think you will be of interest in, and I will give her one copy of the notes.
Oh, thank you. Ah, Mimi. Snaps the book shut. Well, these would prove helpful if we can get them produced. Thank you for delivering this to me.
You're welcome.
I give Lucille a look, and a look that sort of says, "Do we give her the ring?"
She grows and just like and gives you a look like I think we should, because Mimi did trust us with this task.
I think Mimi, I think Setchel says, "Well, that's from a friend." Says, "If it helps, we can prove it was successful."
Oh,
And
I did already discuss things with Mimi when they arrived here, so I do know it was successful. And they did.
oh, they survived. Good.
Yes, and they did fill me in on what happened when you tried to leave the city.
Yeah, that was rough.
From the description, it bears similarities to the first of these. No, not the first, that's right. It was the second of these creatures that we found. Just to clarify, you're offering the ring, correct?
Like, yeah, I'm just gonna say, so do you need it?
Given what these notes are saying, we probably could produce them well enough, and so if Mimi gave you the ring of their own will, I see no reason to keep you from keeping it.
Sweet.
Okay. Oh, so we get to keep it?
Yes.
Sweet, thank you.
Also, if it is not too much for me to ask, but I do believe that since you've already faced creatures like we faced, I could ask your assistance in dealing with this threat.
Absolutely.
Okay. Oh, she's saying okay. Yes.
Without question.
Oh, thank goodness. We've been trying to fight this threat on so many fronts, and We've not faced anything like it. Sibling? And they call to the mage. Yes? If you could pull up on it. And the mage casts a spell, and an illusory map of the Underdark projects. And you see on it, basically, you see troop locations. And you get the usual stuff. You have people established around 3 major cities here, up Citadel, and one other in the west. And you also notice along some points purple fortress-looking structures that very similar resemblance to the one where you all met Setchel at.
Hold on, I'm writing this down.
I'm sorry, I only caught the end of that.
Basically, there's an illusory map of things, and you see a few fortresses mapped out. One, which, upon looking at them, you kind of see design similarities to where you met Setchel.
This isn't any attack. This is an invasion.
Yes, we
Damn.
faced invasions from strange creatures before from outside the realms, but quite honestly, nothing like these. These creatures are not as self-absorbed or, well, I was going to say as meticulous. Actually, they're more. They move in unison.
Like a hive mind?
Yes. We have gathered through their and their followers' insane ramblings that there are 3 primary figures, primary leaders. There's Vloon, which, given the forces we face, seems to be experimenting on life here. There's Zhen, which has learned and is developing mechanical methods of assault. Finally,
Can you spell out that second name?
I have to dig through my notes. I believe,
I don't know why. I just imagine that little interaction
I'm writing this
happening
down in my journal.
universe. Yeah, just Lucille writing it down and asking the priest to spell the name aloud.
I've got a multi-lensed set of glasses as I write like a fucking student.
my memory's good. I'm sorry, I just forgot how to spell it specifically. I'll ping because I am working with someone else for some of the lore in this campaign. So, and I remember how to pronounce things, but not how to spell them, so I'll ping him for the pronunciation and get it to you when I get it.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so the second person is making machines?
Yes. And
Can you just say it and I'll just wing it?
Zhen.
Zhen.
And
Okay.
finally, there is at the fort, or at least that's how we would be able to pronounce it with our... And she gestures to her mouth. Adaford is probably the most warlike of the 3, and we've had to deal with it in many cases. Presumably, and given the way they speak, there was a 4th, but that was taken care of at the first breach we found.
Setchel points to the map. These markings, are they ruins or fortresses?
They are the fortresses we have found, but there's obviously more. These creatures are expanding at quite a fast rate.
What would you like us to do?
Right now, I can tell that you all have had a journey to make it, given that you went with Mimi through the teleportation circle, and you've arrived here weeks later. I can tell that there have been some things. Right now, all I would ask of you is to rest. And then the mage speaks up. Actually, I have some things I might want to introduce them to. Theirastra looks at them a bit questioningly. Just give me time, sister. It may be helpful to give them a more in-depth view into their biology, given the specimen we have. Understood?
Specimen?
Yes. The first... When we found the original breach, we called out a call for aid. 1 answered that call. That was Mimi. Along with that came a spawn of the murderer, and strangely enough, an individual from another world entirely. They faced down what was there. They found one of the smaller beings. We're taking to calling them mind flayers, given how they flay the mind. And they also found a larger one, much like the one Mimi reported you all slaying. The larger one was brought back. Unfortunately, slightly digested, but I've been able to keep it well preserved enough for study.
Digested.
Courtesy of our murderer spawned friend. And Theirastra, you can, Lucille, your passive insight is 16, correct?
Yes.
You can tell that Theirastra is like, basically at this point she's trying to not break her smile, but she's definitely like, please don't bring this story up again.
As she talks a lot about a spawn and the murderer, Satchel just has the widest smiles.
Well, would you all like to accompany me to my lab then?
Right, I don't got nothing better to do.
We can nap after.
Right. And then they will take out a piece of chalk from their pocket and begin to draw a sigil. After enough time, you all realize, oh, this is a teleportation circle. They're drawing. Well, no, actually because they're gender fluid.
Nice.
So yeah, she draws a teleportation circle. Alright, everyone ready?
I will be.
I give them a thumbs up.
Thumbs up
I
back.
tiptoe onto the circle.
And you find yourselves in a strange laboratory with a bunch of strange creatures, some of which you can recognize as demons, some even as spirits, even celestial in nature. One of you spots an angel wing mounted on the wall, and you also notice a few strange creatures. You see a massive skull with one single eye. At first you think it might be a cyclops, but it's far too big for that. You notice You notice one jar full of dead worms that, as you take a closer look, they don't look like they're normal worms. They look alien. And you see one giant glass tube with a figure inside. A figure red as muscle, but with skin far too smooth. From the waist up, it looks like a human, but far too thin, with fingers that end in sharp claws. And its face, like the rest of its body, is featureless, completely smooth. But the lower half of this creature is a mass of tentacles. And it just stays in the tube, arms crossed across its chest.
Does it look like it's pouting?
It does not look like it's doing anything.
I want to walk up to it and tap the glass.
You tap the glass, and as you pull away, nothing happens. But then you notice what seems like maybe a slit going from the top of its head to the bottom of where the chin would be. And then that splits open, and all you can see on its face now is a giant eye vertically with a black iris and a burning red pupil. As this creature then begins to, as if life was breathed into it, lean down to your eye level. Hello there.
You know,
Does Rylak
Cat-
notice this?
Yes.
Rylak's immediately stepping up and pulling Mimi back so she's between the two of them.
Oh, do not worry. I do not mean to harm you at all. And the mage then looks. The scourge is correct. It's harmless as long as it's there. Hasn't bothered me in 50 years.
Do I know what this is?
I mean, all of you can roll a history check to try and see what this is.
I just want to say, when that thing's eye opened, you know how when cats get hella freaked out, they like puff up and they like
30-20.
slow 18 also, and they like back away slowly. That's kind of what Lucille did. She got down on all sixes and just very slowly backed up until Rylak scooped her up and moved her behind her.
Setchel and Lucille, you have no idea what this is. This thing is freaky. Little bit behind the scenes thing. I was describing this thing to one of my friends, and and every piece of the description I gave to them, they answered back, "I hate that," and I'm just like, I am so proud.
I might add D6s actually.
Oh, you're gonna add a D6? All right.
Yeah. 21 now.
Yeah. So Lucille, you do not recognize it, but Setchel and Rylak, you do. This thing is known simply as a scourge. They're strange creatures that are very enigmatic. They speak in riddles. They do things that at one moment they might be helping a village, but then the next they'll be tearing it down themselves as if they were just not wanting the monsters to have the satisfaction of doing it. Scourge are very strange, and it's almost impossible to get a read on them.
Hey, I'm Satchel.
Rylak just glares at the Scourge. Urge, trying to communicate it through that alone that she knows owes its nature.
Oh, one who knows me. Well, that is not quite a rare thing, but it is always delectable to know.
Lucille is just gonna slowly, like, still like puffed up like a cat, just slowly climb up Rylak's back and just peek at it over her shoulder.
You all are here to fight the intruders, aren't you?
I nod just a little bit.
If we are able to.
Yes. This world is falling away. For once it flourished among many, it now leaves to carve its own path. These creatures you fight are one last attempt to keep this world. But this world is ours, and we shall fight them off. The world is changing. It is changing, and you will not know. Soon mortal and divine alike will forget the world as it is and remember how it will be. Already we have forgotten. We have forgotten when the orcs were cousins of giants, and we have forgotten when the giants and Jotun were the same. We have forgotten dragons of color and metal and gems. We have forgotten the cousins of the goblins, and many wild things have been replaced. Soon we shall forget things beyond this realm. We may forget those friends of destruction and those who held their blades. We will forget when there was only one type of spirit. We will forget the little dragons. Oh dear. And very soon we shall forget when Bracer and Circlet were hand and eye. Yole awakens. Yole is to return. But forget my bad manners.
Rylek is like, at this moment, I'm pretty sure Lucille's currently vibrating with how much Rylek is physically trembling at how much from keeping herself from just trying to get at this guy to crush his head.
You can feel Lucille's claws kind of like prick into your skin, both because she's tense and also she's just like, she's just. It's weird to like hold someone back when you're like literally on them, but it's just like, hey, don't get out of your head, man.
Does that mean we'll forget you?
No. The Scourge are here to stay. We are of this world, so we will stay with it.
Okay.
Rylek then breathes.
Do you all have any other questions to ask me?
I turn to the mage and ask her, like, please tell me this isn't the thing you wanted to show us.
No, it's important to have a scourge to study given whenever they pop up, but... Oh, I am not one of the invaders. The invader you seek is right there. And it points, and now that you're a bit farther into the lab, you're able to see this corpse you were seeking. It looks very similar to the large mind flayer which you just recently fought. However, it's somewhat dismembered. Its arms are kind of torn off, one at the elbow, the other at the shoulder. It does not look like it was well kept, at least until whatever preservation methods the mage were put on.
Looks like something with my strength, but at the same place of this thing got a hold of it.
Are there any other questions you want to ask me?
Why are you just chilling out in that tube?
Oh, well, that's because I have nothing else to do. The rest of my kind have many plans, many goals, many orders, but I have nothing to do, so I stay here.
If there's one thing you can trust, it's just about a scourge. It's when they say they've got nothing to do, they've got nothing to do.
And if you found something to do?
Well, I would not find something to do. I would be told to do something. Right now, in fact, I'm actually being told to stay here.
What do you work for?
Moving on.
As Rylek drags Lucille towards the corpse.
You don't even drag me, you literally just turn around and walk away, and I stay on your back.
The Scourge then looks at Satchel. And do you have any questions, my friend?
Not sure. This is me asking. Did I ever dispel Nibbles?
Nibbles would... I think Nibbles would not have lasted long enough.
All right, never mind. I just like look at the thing and it's like, you're very interesting.
I get that a lot.
Well, I got nothing now. Guess we'll talk later.
Alrighty then. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And it
That sounds
returns to its arm-crossed pose, eyes shut, as if it was always in that state.
Can I just ask an observational question? I'm not gonna roleplay it or anything. Where is its mouth? How is it talking?
You did not see a mouth. You heard it, but you weren't sure if it was telepathy or you actually hearing it.
Sounded like it was coming from both our minds and ears at once, right?
Yeah.
That's fucking weird.
I've experienced, I've heard, at least in fiction, something akin to that. I swear to God, I've experienced it in a dream or two as well.
Yeah, you know what? I believe that. Dreams are weird.
But yes, you all approach the corpse of the creature. Now, we've only, at least at this point, discovered 2 of this specific type of individual. There was the one which, well, this one, in fact, and then there's the one who you all fought.
Right, Alex's eye visibly twitches as she recalls how quote unquote useful she was in that fight.
I pat her head.
These creatures do bear enhanced capabilities over the normal mind flayers, so it would be dangerous to assume that they are the same. Especially given the extra parts of their... Damn it, what's the word? Phenotype. The larger body size, the extra tentacles, longer tentacles, in fact. They're not a fully different species, but they're still dangerous and should not be treated the same.
What killed it?
Well, what killed it is actually quite simple. Mimi and the 3 who went out to the portal.
Oh. So where are the other people that Mimi fought with?
Oh, that. This is pulling back the curtain a bit to say this was a one-shot, and
Oh.
yeah. So that's why it's not as refined as I wrote up this lore myself. It's no, this is stuff people played, so this is why the lore is so chaotic for this part.
Oh.
Well, the individual from another world was able to open up a portal, and then the murderer spawn went through said portal, and then the first individual returned to his own world.
Ooh.
So, in other words, we have no idea, but they are certainly not in this world anymore.
I see. Remind me again why you're showing us this body?
Well, given that you faced one before, and quite frankly, that means you're quite powerful, it would be important for me to teach you what I've learned of this.
Proceed.
These creatures are psionic. We've learned from other fights with them that if they grasp you with their tentacles, and she pulls up the tentacles, that you will be stunned. From there, we've actually lost a few people and then she lifts up the tentacles fully, and you can see a beaked mouth. You do not want to get bit by these things. They eat brains, and, well, doing so most assuredly puts you out of the range of some resurrection magic. They also have few psionic abilities beyond the blast that they can radiate. We have many times where they've read our minds. Satchel,
Yes?
I would like to ask you, what are you thinking in this moment, looking at this body?
Just disgust. I have not left. It's been rare since I've let one of these things have a body left over. I feel pride in my kin taking it down. And when... I'm sorry, what's the mage's name again?
I actually lost their name, unfortunately. So,
We also never received it in the first place.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
his
too.
name, as far as I know, his name's fucking Sibling.
All right. When they said they eat brains, I think Setchel mutters under their breath, they eat what isn't theirs.
What are Lucille and Rylek thinking in this moment?
Rylek's mind is still split between what's happening in front of her, or the buzzing from the statue earlier, and the frickin' scourge.
Alright.
Lucille is horrified and also thinking like, yeah, we gathered most of that, and she's also recalling how she's like, wait, they can also control people, right? And,
Yes, they have that. Oh, were you saying that out loud, or were you just thinking it?
Yeah, she was just thinking it because
Okay.
she was thinking about it like, oh wow, these are gross, and then hearing all this stuff, and she's like, wait, they can control people too, and she's trying to like think deeper to recall those instances.
I will say, Setchel, as you look upon this body in disgust, you notice this thing is definitely assuredly dead. Like, there would be no life in this thing unless there was necromancy involved. But then you notice a finger twitch. Not unlike when you use your necromancy.
I look at the scourge. I have a question.
Eye snaps open. Yes?
I ask him, is this lab compromised?
No, it's not. Nothing gets in but what the master of the lab wants. The mage then turns to look at the scourge, confused but also impressed with themselves.
I look back to the twitching finger. Is it still twitching?
Not anymore.
What's wrong?
It moved.
She like shrinks back a bit more. She's like a backpack.
It shouldn't have moved. The mage casts a few spells. There's no life in it, no magic, no illusions. There's no reason this thing should have moved. Are you sure it was not a trick of your eyes?
You said these things are psionic, right?
Yes, but
Would you be able to detect that?
it depends, but if there's anything I've learned from that scourge is that it doesn't lie.
Lucille raises her hand.
Yes? What?
Did you know that these things can control people and animals?
They do have some capabilities. As usual, a good whack usually breaks it. It's not too dissimilar to when we use spells to override an individual's control of themselves.
I would like to insight check this individual.
Go as well.
You may insight check.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
6. 19.
19. Both of you. Yeah, no, they're not controlled at all. They're fine.
Okay. Just imagine Lucille slowly raising her weapon and then slowly putting it back down. Okay. It also spies on people through the things it controls. It makes rats with weird heads, and the rats can do dangerous things if there's a bunch of them together.
You notice a bit of concern on the mage's face that this is not information that that they've had before. Rats. Well then, what was weird about these rats' heads?
They had translucent, glowing heads.
You could see their fucking brains.
Oh,
They were really smart only sometimes. Only when the things were, and when I say the things, I point at the mind player, only when these things were looking through them.
I see. I'll have to send an alert about that out. I usually don't have to worry about rats too much, but
Rats
work
come
with
in
rat catchers
abundance.
as well. Yes.
Honestly, I feel like part of me just always assumes I have a rat in my jar at all times. But I honestly don't know if I do right now, so I don't think I'm gonna offer up any cranium rats for them to study.
I think you executed the last rat.
That's a shame. That's a shame. But that's okay. Like I said, there will be more rats.
Yeah. There will always be more cranium rats.
Imagine the Scourge just says that and
That's
falls
right.
back asleep.
Oh, yeah, no, that's canon. There will always be more of those rats. Falls back asleep.
Rylak gives a sidelong glare at the Scourge.
I point at the Scourge and agree. It's like, yeah, that, yes.
Well, if I ever find one, it'll be good to dissect it, see what's up.
Oh, we bought a big one once with Mimi.
Oh, I'll have to ask them for the details about it.
I recommend using fire.
I just realized, didn't Rylak have the skeleton on her of that one?
Wait,
Well,
did
I'll
you
s-
keep the rat?
I'll say yes, because I think it may have been given to Mimi, but Rylak may have all... But given you were all going in the same direction, it would make sense for Rylak to keep it on her.
Did we end up in the same area?
Well,
Mimi got
Mimi,
No, I
Mimi
mean-
got
Mimi could...
most of the skeleton. Whatever.
Okay. I would say Rylak would have some of it.
Let's say you guys want halfsies.
If I have the skull, I take it out of my backpack.
The mage just looks at it. Fascinating.
This used to be a really big crania, really big one of them rats.
Actually, not to correct you too much, but it looks more like it was a giant rat that was turned into a cranium rat, as you're calling it.
Oh.
Fascinating.
You're saying someone turned it into a monster.
Yes.
Well, so far every time we've encountered a creature who's responsible for it, they always mention a balloon. So I guess it tracks.
Floon is one of the primary three. They're the one that is stationed closer to Obsidiafell, which would be understandable if you kept running into encounters with Floon. Were there any other strange creatures you fought?
There was the
Who's
ooze.
this? Oh yeah. I was just about to say
And ooze?
a red one.
They could imitate people. It was really freaking bizarre.
By the gods.
It was hold on. It was a bunch of people in the inn. It was the mayor and his wife. Was that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. It was the mayor and his wife. And it was also someone I knew, but it was fake.
Oh gods. That's quite startling.
They were pretty good at pretending. I think I think the only thing that told us that something was up was that they just had ooze hard reset. The thing that gave them away was that they had like ooze trailing under them, right?
It wasn't necessarily ooze trailing. It was like a tendril, as if the person was an extension of the ooze.
Yeah. I described that to the mage. They had a bunch of red carpets everywhere, so you couldn't see.
Well, that's clever. If the only thing giving you away would be the trail. You guys also do remember that there was a sulfur smell, but that both in the inn and in the mayor's house, it was covered up by something, and you only kind of realized it afterwards, like, oh, sulfur smell. Especially when the ooze died and you just got a huge whiff of the sulfur. Quite clever then to use red carpets and perfume. What
Was there? Sorry, I was just trying to recall if there was anything else weird, because the rats, the controlled people. Oh, I also warned them that because like a mind flayer had taken over a couple cops, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell them about that. So just like be careful, because people in positions of power and people who control important things would be good for the mind flayers to have.
Yes, we've been working off of that, but always good to have the reminder. Thank you. Are there any other questions I could answer for you all?
What are you gonna do with the body?
Well, I was planning to
Rylak
continue
just
to...
deadpans at Satchel.
I was planning to continue to study it, but I'm just honestly not sure how much more I can learn. The spawn destroyed quite a lot of it, both to consume it and also with the digestion process.
Understandable.
Setchel,
Yeah?
as you're looking at the body, you see it rise up and look at you, and then you blink in fear, and it's right back on the table again. No one else saw that.
I'd recommend burning it when you're done.
Okay, at this point, Satchel, you say that recommendation. Have I been too subtle? You hear echoing a chorus of 1,000 voices in your head.
Oh, you have got to be kidding me.
Yes? What?
Rylik's just looking at him confused.
I'm going to take out Nibbles' skull, and I'm going to cast Animate Dead on it.
You do that? I think the mage counterspells you? What is the meaning of this, if I might ask?
I need to talk to someone right now.
Oh, right. I should have known. Well, we do not have the room to judge when we're fighting these creatures. Proceed.
I take Nibbles' skull, and I cast Animate Dead. And you said I had to cast 2 level 3 spells to talk to my god?
I will say, normally you do. But in this case, you cast Animate Dead. And normally in a creature dismembered like this, it would, like, it would come up and the arm that's attached at the elbow, it just wouldn't have that arm. The one at the shoulder wouldn't have that arm.
I'm not casting it on the dead Mind Flayer. I'm casting it on Nibbles' skull.
Oh! Okay. Never mind, I misunderstood. You cast it on Nibbles' skull. Servant, what is it you seek?
This is what I was looking for?
Yes.
And we are going to bless it with our magic.
We will steal from them as they steal from us.
Rylek's pretty much holding her good dog, but not drawing it yet.
Why would we risk this?
It will be under my control and mine alone.
Even something like this is worth an ounce of what you have?
These intruders believe they are powerful. Before the might of an undead lord, they are nothing but an insult. Weaker than a fly.
Then why do we give any of them the chance of unlife?
It is not given. It is taken. I take their flesh as they take from me. It is not some glorious gift given. It is blasphemy of their so-called perfection as they blaspheme me.
Is a blasphemy of their what? I'm sorry.
Their so-called perfection.
I think
Perfection.
Satchel's like gripping their hands so hard that they're like whatever color blood is coming out of their palms is hitting the floor. And I think they take a deep sigh. It's glorious to me. And I dispel the undead animation of Nibbles and cast Animate Dead on the corpse and walk away.
Yeah, so you do that. And now I can get into the cool description. So, where normally, like, this creature would not be able to control its dismembered limbs, they levitate. And this creature rises like Frankenstein's monster. And Lucille and Rylek, you can hear in your minds the same voice that came from Setchel's skull. They have done their work well. This creature, this body, shall be an avatar of death. The mage
Satchel,
is a bit off-put by this. Go ahead with Setchel.
Satchel is in earshot. They're not looking in the corpse's direction. They're just leaning against the tank the Scourge is in.
The mage then speaks to the creature. So I am speaking to the murderer right now. Yes. And your only goal right now is to help us with this menace. Yes. Rylek, you're rolling a religion check?
Have I ever heard of the murderer?
With a 17, yes. The murderer is one of the undead lords of the Shadow Realm. You recognize this being as, in descriptions, he is described as being a creature made of corpses, as tall as a mountain. He is the embodiment of what is called undead of the flesh. zombies and wights and other undead that still have decaying flesh on their bones.
Rylek's gonna just stay silent, but ready.
I hop off of Rylek and I just look at Setchel like, what did you just do?
Setchel is not talking to anyone.
Can I do an inside check on Setchel to try and see what their reaction to this is?
I'm not gonna hide it. Confliction, to say the least. A sense of dirtiness too, that just added to the frustration. Like, they did not want to do that.
So I'm able to tell with a passive 16 insight that you did not want to do this.
I'm not hiding it.
You could
That-
tell with a passive 1 insight that he did not want to do this.
Hell yeah. She just like gives you a nod and just pulls out her staff, which is not looking great, by the way, but she pulls out her staff anyway and just braces next to Rylek.
The body then turns to the mage, and none of you hear this because it is telepathic, but it speaks to the mage. I shall gather my cultists, and we shall assist you. This body shall remain only until the threat is defeated. Sorry, that voice is very hard on my throat. I need a drink of water before I say what the mage is
Hydrate
gonna
or
say.
dihydrate.
Well, it's also going that deep wrecks your throat.
I can imagine.
I love doing that. I love doing the voice, but holy crap, doing the murderer just wrecks my voice. The mage then, in their mind, speaks back to the corpse. Understood. I will pass the message along to my sister that we're allies for now. The corpse then nods and shuffles itself off the examination table and floats above the ground, heading for the exit. The mage then looks at Setchel and walks over. I slightly understand how you feel about this. I myself am a master of conjuration magic, but mostly out of understanding our enemies. If you need someone to talk to about it, my sister would be able to understand you much better. After all, we follow the Guardian. We are meant to keep the barrier of this world, but we're having to break all of our rules. Well then, would you all like to return to the city?
Wait, so if this lab isn't in the city, where is it?
We're just off in the mountainside. We're still technically in the city, but this lab is sequestered off. Sorry, I wish I should have been more specific.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Did-
let's go.
Did the murderer leave?
Yep.
I think Setchel sighs and taps the glass of the scourge.
Yes, dear friend.
Is that entertaining enough for you?
Entertainment is not really something we care all too much for.
Yeah, of course you'd say that. Let's go.
Goodbye, friend. And then, as you all leave, if anyone looks back at the scourge, you can see it does have a mouth that opens into a toothy smile across its chest.
Oh, that's lovely.
Rylak looked back before closing the door, or at the back of the pack, to give it one last glare to see that.
It waves at you, and then as you all leave, it returns to its arms crossed, sleep-like state. And as the mage casts their spell, you find yourselves all back in the Temple of the Guardian.
Well, that was something.
Sister, I have something to report to you when you're free. And then they give a bow and head off, presumably to do some work. Wonderful. Well then, I hope my siblings' excursion was educational for you all.
More than you know.
Like I said, we will... I'll give you all time to rest, however long you need. I'll see about giving you a room at an inn. And if there's anything else you all need, you feel free to ask me.
Lucille raises her hand again. I have a question. 2 questions, actually.
Yes?
One, where would I need to go to replace this? And I show her my fucked up quarterstaff.
Oh, and she points you towards the smithy.
Okay. Hold on. Pointed towards Smithy. And second, where is the Adventurers Guild?
Oh, you...
Or the, what
The
they call it?
Explorers Guild.
Explorers Guild, my bad. I
You
think
wish...
they called it Adventurers Guild anyway, because force of habit.
Oh, you must mean the Explorers Guild. If you wish to speak with them, I actually will be meeting with them sometime soon. You could join us for that.
Yes, please.
Anything else the rest of you need?
I think Satchel's already halfway out the door.
Rylak's just waiting on Lucille to finish up.
Right.
You can go on ahead if you'd like. I say that to Rylak.
Rylak nods, then goes back to the fountain in front of the statue that caused that buzzing in her head to appear, and just stares and contemplates.
Quarian, could you escort them to one of the inns and set down their reservation? And, well, inform them that it is us who's footing their bill? My lady, at this time, I need to be here to protect you. I can protect myself just fine, as you know. Understood, my lady. And he will head out to meet with Rylak and Satchel. At that point, I think... Satchel, where are you going?
I think they're just gonna walk deep into the city and look for an alleyway to just sit in for a while.
Alright. Rylak, you're just standing in front of the statue of the Infector?
Correct.
Taking interest in this statue, are we? Quarian asks.
What's his name?
Quarian.
Quarian.
Something happened when I looked at it. Kind of buzzing in the back of my head.
Yes, the Infector's interesting. He... well... there's many different interpretations of his origin. And no matter what, he's definitely has many myths where he's a parasite, but he's the one in charge of the fungus we rely upon, so it's hard to discount his importance to our life down here.
Rylek just grunts in affirmation.
There's something about this statue, isn't there, for you?
Just kind of shake the big. Just. Gut hasn't led me wrong before, but even my gut's confused. Just something about the infector doesn't sit with me right.
Give me one moment, I just have to pull something up really quick. Oh. Damn it. Quarian looks at your eyes. I see. I know what's wrong. Let me guess. You had a mushroom steak one day. You felt a weird presence in your head.
Right. If Quarian can visibly conceive Rylek doesn't even hide her reaction. Just whips her head towards him.
It's happened.
Shock open on his face.
It's happened.
On her face.
It's happened quite a few times in history. It's when the infector wants to keep an eye on things. Means he thought you were important. Won't mean anything too much. Unless... well, if you start growing mushrooms out of your ears, we're gonna need to do an exorcism. And then he caught a smile, as in like, it was a joke.
Rylek deadpan, and then asks, "Why are you here?"
I am here to find you all an inn and get you all set up.
All right. She then looks around for Setchel and does not see him, I assume.
Yeah. We'll find your friend together.
Further. Known him, he's probably in an alley somewhere.
Well, we'll find them. And you two walk off. Lucille, you're waiting there with Theirastra for the meeting with the Explorers Guild?
Yeah, pretty much.
She starts to set out a meeting table. So, you're looking for some people. Mind telling me about them?
Yeah. Hold on. Wait a second. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy who led my guild. Where are you? Okay, yeah, I did not write down his name. Why did I not write down his name? Anyway, she just tells her about how her guild leader sent her and 3 other people down here because they heard that something weird was going on in the Underdark and we were going to investigate. And she talks about how she met a bunch of people and there was an invasion with these... it wasn't Edens, but like these... What was the name of the... Hold on.
Grimlocks?
The Grimlocks. And like how there was like a Grimlock invasion and her friends got kidnapped. And she's been looking for them ever since, and she talks about the red ooze and how she thought she found Sprug, but Sprug was just like a fake and was made by the ooze.
I'm sorry for that. I've heard many a tragic story like yours over my time. Fortunately, unlike with demons, you don't have the fortune of knowing your friends are out of their misery.
And she's sitting at this table, and usually it's comedic when her tiny little ass is sitting in like normal sized stuff, but she just looks too small in this chair at this table because like just the way she's letting herself feel right now. She just says like, oh my god, what was I gonna say? Says, I have no idea where they are, and I'm starting to think that whoever these Mind Flayer leaders are, they're doing something bad to them.
I would have the capability to scry on your friends if you would like.
She perks up immediately, like her ears stand up. She's like, you can do that?
Yes, I'll need to do it tomorrow, but I would be able to.
Please?
It is of no consequence.
She hops down and shakes Therastra's hand with all four of hers and says like, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well then, shall we have this meeting then?
Yes. And she sits back down.
And I'm just gonna speed through it because otherwise it would just be me talking to myself a lot.
It's just all talking.
Yeah, you meet with some very high-ranking members of this Explorers Guild, and there's talks, and you tell your story, get your friends on their radar, and yeah. And then later in the day, cutting back in time to finish Rylek's story, you're able to find an inn. You're able to find Setchel, and if they want to go with you, they can accompany you to the inn. And with Lucille, when the meeting is over, you and Therastra meet at the inn as well. And
There is one thing I want to do before Rylek finds me.
all right,
I'm going to cast Sending to my sister.
all right.
It's done. I made it to Deepwell. I did what he wanted. Did you know?
Good. Did I know what?
I will cast it one more time. Did you know what he wanted us to revive? Did you know we were giving the enemy our blessing?
We can disagree about the mission, but I knew what it was you had to do. Basically, she would probably have worded it better. You both can disagree about whether this was sacrilege or not, about whether it was a good thing to do or not, but yes, she did know.
Satchel does not know.
You basically get the intention that she doesn't, and I would say that it's like you can definitely come from her interpretation, given your god is having the same interpretation, that this is not necessarily sacrilege, because it's your god is like, yeah, no, do this thing. I don't care if it would normally be sacrilege, do it. If you're being told by your god to do sacrilege, is it sacrilege? And you're coming with the answer yes, they're coming with the answer no.
Yeah, Satchel is not going to send a third sending. They're just going to get up and like walk out of the alley knowing they gotta sit with this for a while. And I think that's when Rylek finds them.
Alright.
Yeah, you frickin'
And we'll say that
Dang.
Soul stayed with Lucille. Since Golden did have to pop out. Alright.
I'm guessing her story was explained.
Yeah. At this point, I know it's a bit early, but I think that's a good place to end, as next time we'll have a little downtime session. We can talk between sessions how much time in-game you guys want to rest, and then we'll take care of everything you guys want to do in that time next session.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
players, for being a part of this. Couldn't run this game without you guys. Thank you for everyone who showed up in chat.
Nor
and-
could we play it without you. Thank you, DM.
This was fun.
Dude, I'm writing this. This was actually nuts. I've written down so much. There's a lot of caps lock in here.
Yeah, and thank you for everyone who's watching on Twitch and in YouTube. Just the reminder of the Twitch and YouTube things, because that always helps the creator, and also a reminder that I got a Patreon now if you want to, but I also recognize I'm a small creator at this point, so you don't have to.
You have a Patreon?
Yeah.
He announced it on the server too.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, thank you for everyone. This was a good session, and I'll hopefully see you next week, but anything can happen with our schedules.
Okay,
Yes.
I won't be here next week.
Ah, we'll work things out between sessions then if we're running next week or not.
No worries.
Bye, chat.
Bye bye.
Bye.
See you next time.